1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Ronnie Austion, Teach the Teacher, the Art of Classroom Management, creator of the 10 Class Commandments. Today what we're going to do a teacher version of the 10 Class Commandments. Today who we have in the studio with us, we have Mrs. Williams, a seasoned teacher. We here, she's going to tell us some things that she's figured out about the 10 Class Commandments that has helped her and just her whole overall teaching experience in general. So tell us something about yourself. You here, tell us something about you.
Well, so I've always had a passion for teaching.
Okay.
Ever since I was a little girl, way before I even stepped foot in preschool,
Oh,
I
wow.
knew what I wanted to do.
Wow.
I don't know if it was like the stars were aligned way before I was born and it was already, bam, she's going to be a teacher.
Right.
But I've always had a passion for education, so I've been teaching for 8 years now.
Okay.
I went from being a sub, getting my feet wet, to becoming a teacher and then a reading specialist. So,
Okay.
right now I'm at University Prep Schools and I support the reading intervention program.
Reading specialist, what is that? Like, can you delve into what that might be?
When I say that, people
are like, what is reading?
What is a reading
What are you? You special? Like,
Right.
exactly.
So, as many know, a lot of students and adults really struggle with reading.
Exactly.
So I'm the person that you come to, and I'm talking about from pre-K all the way to college level.
So let me ask you something, not to cut you off. When they say reading, a lot of people misconstrue reading with, I'm able to read words in a book.
Oh, no.
Reading is being able to
comprehend.
That's the word I was looking for. Okay, go ahead.
So comprehension is understanding and being able to remember
what you read.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
That's examples like it's like me telling you, hey, go watch this movie, and you go watch the movie and you come back and you're not able to tell me anything about the movie.
Right. That means you have an issue with comprehension.
Okay.
And like you were speaking about decoding. Decoding is being able, I can read this 5th grade text, but I don't comprehend. I can't understand.
Exactly.
I mean, comprehension is broke down in a lot of ways, summarizing, synthesizing, inferences, and all of that, blah, blah, blah. So my job is to support schools, teachers, students, parents, all stakeholders with getting their child on level with reading.
Okay.
So I help coach the teachers and give them best reading strategies and so forth.
All right, cool. So how important is classroom management? I know you're not doing that now, but when you were teaching, I used to walk past your room, I'll be like, man, they in there quiet as a church mouse. They in there chilling. They in there listening to jazz,
Yes.
How important is classroom management to you?
Oh, classroom management is number one because mainly you cannot teach if your classroom doesn't have a certain culture and environment.
Okay.
I mean, I'm talking about the way your class smells, the way it looks. Kids kind of have like this autonomy within the classroom in the sense of I take ownership in my classroom.
Okay. So how do you empower them with that? That's what, since you said that, like.
Well, first off, it's modeling.
Okay.
So just like I'm speaking to you now, this is how I speak to my students.
Okay.
So what I found was that a lot of kids take on the personality of their teacher.
Man,
right?
people don't understand that. Like, people don't understand your classroom takes on your personality. So it's not a shot, but if I walk in your classroom and it's like, it's on a ziggity boom, it's junky, it stink or whatever, it's like, but if I walk in there, it's clean, it's kids sitting there learning, it kind of like reflects you, like, you know what I'm saying?
It definitely does. And now, don't get me wrong, just because the classroom is quiet, it doesn't mean that students are engaged in learning.
Oh my God, I'm glad you.
I like brain-based learning, and that goes with, like I was saying, like the way your classroom smells. Lavender, peppermint is really good with, enticing students.
Okay.
I love to play jazz. I always engage my students in writing, conversation. I just talk to them. Hey, what did you do this weekend?
Exactly.
Let me tell you what I did. So
Exactly.
kind of building that relationship.
You telling them opens them up to tell you and be free. Okay.
So, I mean, and that was like one of the best things was building relationships with students. I absolutely loved it.
Okay. So what was one of the things that you took from the 10 Class Commandments? One of the things that you saw that you was like, okay, I can either use that or that was like, I can relate to that.
One of my favorites, Ronnie, was what is your why?
What is your why? Okay.
And
that's when I got the Christmas joint on me. The Biggie, the Wonder Why Christmas missed us.
I'm listening to it like, hey.
Wonder why Christmas missed us.
Right,
like they didn't get the ugly sweater joint. They didn't get it. Like, yeah, okay. Gotcha.
Right. I was here with that. Like, yeah, Christmas. Yeah. But What Is Your Why was my favorite because for me, you know, like you asked me, like, you know, well, kind of what made you go into education.
Right.
My why was the fact that this is my passion. Like, I'm dedicated to this.
Right.
And mainly it was because of where I came from. You know, I didn't come from a privileged background.
Right.
And I was one of those kids sitting in the classrooms with teachers that were, you know, not really good teachers.
Right,
you know?
not engaged.
And I sat there in my classrooms like, you know what? When I get to your age, I bet you I can do a better job than you. Even as a little girl, I knew that I could teach better than what some of my teachers.
Right.
And
Not
that
all
was
of them. Right.
So I wanted to make a difference. I
wanted
wanted
to make a difference.
Evolve education to now it's an experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, what are some of your frustrations that you see in education right now? What are some of the things that you be like, that just grind your nerves? You be like, what are they doing? Not necessarily at your building or where you are, but just in education in general. Like that just be like, what in the world are they doing?
Well, I mean, where should I start? Well, I'm gonna give you a couple. How about that? So one is standardized testing.
Standardized testing.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, and I'm pretty sure that most educators can, you know, agree with that.
Right.
Is that standardized testing to me, it takes away from the overall experience in education.
Right.
Students should be excited, they should be motivated, you know, they should be happy to come, you know, to school. Teachers shouldn't feel like, you know, the man is on their back all the time about these scores. Now, don't get me wrong, I know that, you know, at some level, you know, a teacher, I guess effectiveness have to be measured in some form, but to be tested 10, 12, 13 times in one school year is a bit much.
And we just got finished talking about, off the camera, we just got finished talking about the third grade, how it's changing. And we was talking to Dee about how they build they base the prisons, building the prisons off the third grade test scores. So now they have this thing in place. You want to speak about that?
So you know, here in Michigan, our governor Rick Snyder put the third grade reading law in place. And so what that basically states is that starting the 2019-20 school year, which will affect our current first graders. So our current first graders will be the first to be affected by this law. But if any child fails the M-STEP, which is our reading state test, if they fail the state test in reading, they automatically are retained. Right. So, but this is like
retained, meaning for those who who are in education, like you fail. Like, okay.
So if I don't pass the reading test, I fail third grade.
Just off a standardized test, not the work that I've done all year that I'm able to do. I'm able to. So it's almost like I can throw that away. As long as I pass the test, I don't even have to come to school most of the time. But if I'm a good test taker and I pass the test and I go to the next grade. But if I come to school every day and I do the work that you've given me in front of me every day and I don't pass the standardized test, I'm held back.
Right. And I feel like there's pros and cons with the law.
Right.
I feel like one thing that I do like about the law is that it holds parents accountable.
Okay.
And that's one of the 10 class commandments is accountability.
Right.
And you know, so already right now schools are identifying students who are on the cusp, those who may end up being retained. You know, so you're looking at first grade and reading scores and saying, okay, who needs the support? And that's where I come into place.
Gotcha.
As a reading specialist, I come in, I support those students, support the teachers, administrators, and so forth. But so I like the fact that it's bringing the parents and all the stakeholders together because you know, in education we kind of have the teachers, you have administrators, and the parents are kind of
everybody separate.
It's bringing everybody together to say, hey, I need
we trying to get this kid.
Yeah,
we trying to get this kid to the right place.
You know,
So all right, cool. What are some of your most memorable times you've had in education? Like something that you, not necessarily, it doesn't have to be positive, it doesn't have to be negative, but something that you remember, you like, man, that was crazy, or you know, just.
Yeah. So, well, one of them was a really positive moment was when I had won Teacher of the Month and Best Classroom Management of the Year.
Toot.
Right.
I was a teacher
Best Data Walls of the Year. All those awesome things. No, but outside of me. There was one day I came to work, and you know how it can be. You just like totally like, you know what? I don't want to be bothered. I'm coming here today. Like my whole day was in disarray. My morning, you know. So I come in, I'm already running late, so I'm already irritable, and my kids are standing outside of the classroom door waiting for me. And so it was one girl named Michelle who came in, and you know, first thing she in my face. Hi, Miss Reese. At the time, Miss Reese. Hi, Miss Reese. You know, I really want to show you something. And I'm like, Michelle, you know, trying not to snap, you know, trying to keep it in. I'm like, Michelle, you know, just give me about 5 minutes.
Right.
So I take off my coat, hang it up, you know, and then 5 minutes. You're like, here's I remember.
You said 5 minutes. You said 5 minutes. I had looked and it said my phone said 5
minutes. Miss Reese. So she back up my. Miss Reese, I remember she had this big like black garbage bag, and there was something in it. I didn't know what it was, but I'm like, whatever it is. I kind of don't care, but I have to care because I don't want to make you feel like you're not valued. So in teaching, you always got to kind of take yourself out, put it into the kids. So I said, okay, you know, all right, Michelle, what do you have to show me? So she pulls out this big poster board with a letter in the middle and all of these like little bubbles of all of her goals and her dreams. Okay. And in the letter, she read the letter to me, and the letter basically said that every day I leave school, I talk to my mother about you constantly, and you inspire me so much that now I want to become a teacher. Wow. And she said, you know, I think about you all the time when I'm at home. And you know, and you really give so much to us, and we really love you, and I love you, and you inspire me. And in that moment, I took myself out of me, like I had to check myself in my therapy chair. And like I just got emotional, and I hated to do that early in the morning, but like tears started coming down, and all my students started gathering around. They started giving me hugs, like, "Oh, Miss Reese, it's okay." But in that moment, I'm just like, "This is bigger than me." It's bigger than you. Yeah, it's bigger than you. It's bigger than me. Because you're affecting and you're molding. You're giving stuff to somebody who, if you do it the right way, can come change. Tupac said, "I might not change the world, but I might spark the brain that will change the world." Mm-hmm. So in that aspect, that's a perfect example of it. Yeah. Like you might not change everybody, but that one might be the one that becomes our next Oprah Winfrey or whoever the case may be. Yeah. You know, so like that's great. In fact, her and I, like we really bonded and like built such a good relationship that she started being one of my babysitters over the summer. Okay, so you kind of like mentoring her, so to speak. Yeah. So I had a little story that I wanted to talk about, but you just came and crushed that. It's kind of hard. I don't want to chase that, but I don't even want to come behind that with mine's was funny, like, so I don't even want to. Yours is all we in here emotional, teary eyed and stuff like that, it's, you know. True story, though. And that's good. That's what people need to see and hear, and that's some of the things that we get that'll keep us, that'll drive us through, that'll push us through those days. I mean, like you didn't even feel like it that day. After that, my day was like, you know what? On the way up, I'm making a difference. I'm motivated now. Yeah, I'm motivated. Yeah, so exactly. Yeah, that was a good day for me. What about, you had kind of touched on it earlier, the parent-teacher dynamic, or the dynamic of parents and how the child is affected with that dynamic. And you've been teaching for almost 10 years. Some of the changes that you've seen in the new generation, the millennials that they call them, how is it like with dealing with parents, or something that you can give maybe a teacher that might be out there watching, how to deal with an aggressive parent or parents that's like, I don't care, like that's your, you know what I mean? Like touching on that, another one of my stories was that I was in front of the class teaching. His parent was mad because I probably shouldn't have said it, but this one girl that was in my class, like she had fake fingernails on. Mm-hmm. She was only in the 4th grade. Right. And, you know, she was just not focused on school at all and just focused on her nails that day. And that kind of agitated me. And so I mentioned something to her, like, you know, you shouldn't be having on those nails. You should be more focused. Blah, blah. Of course, she go home, tell her mom. So her mom comes up to the school. For that. She come for that. She came for that. She come for that. She didn't come for nothing else. Parent teacher conference. So now mom walk in the classroom and is upset. You don't tell me what to tell my daughter. You don't tell her what she can wear. That's my baby, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, so, you know, in this moment, mom is in my face, like in front of my class. Wow. And she's putting her hands all on my face, but I knew I had to be a good. They watching, 30 of them watching you. Yeah, so, I mean, first of all, I'm not going to allow you to knock me off my square and possibly lose everything I worked so hard for. But, you know, in dealing with an irate parent, I had to step outside the classroom. I said, you know what, I want you to know, like, my ultimate goal is to make sure that your daughter is on reading level by the end of the school year. I'm very passionate about this. I know you're upset about that. My apologies, but let's focus back on your child. Right. So a lot of times when you're dealing with with parents like that, we're gonna pull you out of yourself because right now you're in yourself, and we're gonna focus on your child. Let me show you what her reading score is, and let me show you what I'm trying to do.
Exactly.
By the end of the school year, her reading score. Now she wasn't on level because she was really, really behind, but she wasn't far from it. Like it just.
So she went from behind to caught up to pass.
And the parent came back and thanked me.
Okay.
Like, you know, Miss Reese, I'm sorry, but I thank you so much and blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
So, you know, I mean, that's one of my issues is that accountability. With parents, is that you have to hold your child accountable. Is that if you've done this, that, and the third, and for themselves as well, parents have to hold themselves accountable. Like, what am I doing? What could I be doing better?
What could I be doing better?
Support.
A lot of times I think parents think that the school is the sole educator. Like, you know what I mean? Like, y'all not teaching them, y'all not doing this, and y'all. Versus I'm at home with them. Like, we have them for 8 hours, you have them for the other 16 hours. You know, so what are you doing also in between that? Are you making your child read to you while you cooking? Are you doing math? What are you doing as a parent that can help? Because it's all really a team thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? And one of the things I always like to talk about is when the teacher and the parent are on the same wave or on this, then the child wins. Yeah. But when the teacher and the parent aren't, and the parent is talking bad about the teacher, and the kids know it, and they bring the attitude. Well, my mama, you know, they come with it, and you already know, like, I don't gotta listen to you. My mama don't like you anyway, type of feel. Like, where they know that. You know what I'm saying? And you get it, like, oh, they've been talking in front of it. So when you see the parent and the teacher on the same level, and the kid notice that, they're accountable.
No, it's magic.
Then magic happens. Exactly.
That is the ultimate best. If I call home rather than say, little Johnny had a good day, or little Johnny, you know, was kind of struggling today, I need you to talk to him. We already have to have a relationship built.
Exactly.
You know?
The rapport.
And I had explained this to one of my students who receives reading intervention from me, is that, you know, every day they're supposed to go home and read these little black and white books that I send home. Okay. And their parents supposed to sign their reading log. And it was one week where I'm talking about no days were signed. And so I said, you know what? I want to explain to you this whole dynamic. I said, like, think of you as a bike. Like, your education is a bike. The school is the actual bike. Like, not the tires, we're just the bike. You are one of the tires or one of the wheels, and your parent is the other wheel. Right. So I'm bringing this bike to you, and what I'm saying is for you to bring yourself to the table. So I need one tire in the front, and I need one tire in the back. So right now, I told the child is that, you know, you're telling me that you're reading, but I don't know if you're reading because it's not signed. Exactly. So right now we're operating with one tire. Right. So can we ride this bike? And the kid said, no, we can't ride the bike. So I said, so what are we missing?
Unless you got a unicycle. You know, yeah, I can ride this bike. I got a unicycle. Like,
but I said, so I need you to go home, and I do my best. I'm gonna call him, write a note.
That's what I was saying. I got a unicycle.
Right. I need you to tell your parent I need the other.
We need the other wheel. We need that other wheel
so we can ride. You know, so
that's excellent. That's an excellent analogy to give them. Like, you know, because I got to get on their level so they can understand it.
Get on their level.
What are some of the things that you see in administration that you see that can negatively or positively affect change in teaching also, in education also? Because a lot of times, sometimes as educators, we aren't necessarily frustrated with the kids. We may be frustrated with how stuff comes down from the top. Like,
so I feel like one of the biggest things that we have a hard time with as educators when it comes to administration is that I think most of us just want them to have our back. Like, you know what?
Support, just the support.
Yeah, I just need your support. So if I'm in the classroom and you see that I may be struggling with classroom management, I need you to give me some professional development to support me. Or if you see I'm struggling with a parent involvement, I need you as the administrator, call these parents up, truancy issues. Right. I need you to get on this, get these kids in these doors.
I need you to make sure that parent ain't just walking into my classroom that how she get down here? Like, I just
my head, you know?
What is security?
Like, I was able to talk it down.
Right. How she get down here? Like,
So, but just to have our back in everything, you know. So, just the support.
Okay. All right. One of your most challenging or memorable students. Who was that? Like, not necessarily names, but who was one of your most challenging or students or memorable students that you've had?
You know, There's so many Ronnie, but I'm gonna choose just one.
Okay.
But her name was Renata.
Okay.
I'll say Renata. What I found was that she was coming from a broken home.
Okay.
You know? Mom left her. She was left to be raised by her older sister, who was only like 20.
Okay.
With a child. So now she's trying to raise her 10-year-old sister, who was already failed a grade. And sister had a lot of, both of them. The whole dynamic was crazy. Mom would pop up to the school straight off the streets, to come see her daughter because big sister didn't allow mom to see her. So it was really hard. But what I found was that I saw a lot of one of my family members in this little girl. Mm-hmm. So instantly I could empathize with her. And that's the first thing is that
the empathy.
And then I think that she looked at me and said, no, this woman don't know what I'm going through. She don't know nothing about me. But once I sat down and I talked to her and she saw how, I treated her, it was unconditional.
Because a lot of times the students don't understand we're human beings also.
Oh, yeah.
They looking at you like you're a superhero almost. Oh, you don't have to, you don't know my pain, you don't know my struggle. But then when you had that conversation, then.
Right. So, her and I, we built such a good relationship because she was the alpha female in the classroom.
Okay. She was the leader of the class.
Yeah. I need to get cool with the alpha female and she'll help put everybody
It's funny. I
kind
of talk about that.
It was a lot. Yeah.
So, what good advice would you give to a teacher who may be struggling right now? Like that can, it's that point in time of the year where teachers are frustrated. They can be frustrated. They need to regroup. What advice can you give them to kind of like push through, so to speak?
You go back to the drawing board, take it back to September, stick on your policies, procedures, and your routines. Make sure that class is back on target. Start sending communications to the parents. Hey, we're in the last little few months.
We're in the last stretch.
We
need your support.
Yeah.
Because it's good that you said that because parents don't want to see their kid retained or held back, failed, or whatever you want to call it. Right. So that phone call could be like, I'm calling to help you. I'm sure you don't want your kid retained or held back or whatever. So we need your support or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the parent communication and kind of getting back to square one.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And the last but not least, before we get out of here, I want to ask you about teacher salaries. What do you think? I seen in Oklahoma they striking right now. They like one of the lowest paid, and they striking, and just teacher salaries in general across the board. What do you think about teacher salaries?
Obviously.
Right.
I definitely feel that we should be making way more.
Way more. Because it's one of the. It's funny because this position is still. It's a prominent position. We talked about this. Like you held to a higher standard, like a doctor or a lawyer and all that type of stuff, but you're not paid like a doctor or a lawyer or something.
And that's where the confusion comes in. So you have such high. I'm talking about
expectation.
Every year they go higher.
Exactly.
Okay, this standardized test. You got to bring your students on this level, and if you don't,
and this is from the admin.
Oh yeah, this is from. Well, no, it starts with state. Yeah, and then it's
because you got to because you got to be able to pass these tests and stay certified and all this type of stuff.
And renew your license every 5 years. You got to pay for classes. You got to get your teacher credit, and all of these standards. Where now it feels as if now you're carrying more on your back. You know, and I'm doing all of this because I'm trying to inspire kids.
Right. Exactly.
But you're trying to make me feel that I shouldn't want to be able to pay my bills on time or take vacations like everybody else because I'm in it for the kids, but I'm still a human being.
They're gonna lean on that. Oh, but it's about the kids. It's about the kids now. They're gonna lean on that. Right.
But if Mrs. Williams don't have the money to, put in her gas tank, I'm gonna have to call off today.
Exactly. I'm gonna be out there. Ms. Williams gonna be driving a Lyft or an Uber or something. You know what I mean? At Sam's Club somewhere. Right. So. One of the things I talk about in one of my videos is opening up a school where teachers are making $100,000.
I saw that.
You know what I'm saying? Like so we don't have to worry about the struggle of going to do something extra or doing something else. Where I'm vested right there, where it's like, okay, if I make 100 minimum, then I'm here. I ain't going nowhere, and I feel like we'll get the best of the best.
Oh yeah.
You'll have people coming from everywhere to come educate children, and that's what it's about.
Then you can get, you know, a nice little
bonus.
check on the side.
Okay,
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
good.
But
So
then teachers complain about that, like, you know, why does that have to be?
why does it have to be tied to that? You know what I mean? Why does it have to be tied to me? Because if they don't make it and then I don't get the bonus, does that make me a bad teacher?
Because there's so many, as you know, there's so many factors in a student's academic success.
No,
I
attendance.
can be an awesome teacher, but if it's not any support at home,
Right.
now
You're not here.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
You're absent all the time.
You come twice a week.
How am I supposed to teach
Right.
you?
It's a half day. We don't learn nothing on half days anyway. Like
Right.
they're not showing up, whatever
Yeah,
the case
you know,
may
so,
be.
yeah, it's hard.
All right, so we appreciate you coming. You want to give the people your information. They want to contact you if that's what you want to do.
Yep.
Right here,
Yep,
you know what I'm
so,
saying?
Candace Williams, known as Mrs. Williams professionally,
AKA?
AKA
Miss
Miss
Reese.
Reese, long time ago, right? You can follow me on Facebook as Candace Williams. I am in anthropology for the Overcomers Ambition that's being published and put out April 26th is our book signing.
Tell them about your book. Tell them about your book.
So
Plug
my book is based on my experience. It's a memoir from me being a child to becoming the woman I am today and being resilient and overcoming my issues with self-confidence, poverty, and so forth. So be looking out. April 26th, the book comes out. All about ambition. It's 14 other women that put chapters in. So that's going to be awesome. Also, my memoir will be coming out this November. And it's going to be called "What a Butterfly Learned in the Ghetto." So, you like
It's kind of like the
Yeah.
what's his name? How to Kendrick Lamar. How to pimp a lie. That's funny.
Yeah.
All right, so man, we appreciate you coming, man. Thank you for coming. This was a great experience. Teachers, if you want to come to the studio, let us know. Email me, inbox me, DM me, all that stuff, all that good stuff. It's been great. Teach the Teacher, the Art of Classroom Management, the 10 Class Commandments, Teacher Edition. That's what we hear. All right, y'all go be great on purpose. Peace.
1, 2, 3.